Casas with us here on set. Greece, of course, leading our headlines today. What are the papers they're making of the political chaos, though?
Well, new elections are looming, according to the front page of Kathimerini. Of course, that's just their suspicion. There's nothing official about that. But they reckon that Syriza left-wing leader Alexis Tsipras will in no way manage to form a coalition. Of course, that's what he's trying to do. He's got another 3 days, but they reckon it just won't be able to happen. There's going to be a rerun of those Greek elections in the middle of June, with no guarantee, of course, that the elections will produce any clearer government than the ones that they've just had. Voters could indeed just go and repeat their distaste with the austerity policy that they already have done. Now, what has made the formation of this government so difficult? Well, it's Syriza's insistence that whatever government is formed will entirely reject the memorandum that was signed by the previous government, by the two mainstream parties, Conservatives, New Democracy and Socialist PASOK. That memorandum, of course, was what allowed the EU and IMF inspectors to come to Athens and start poking through and controlling the Greek government's finances. He wants to entirely reject that, and indeed suggests creating a committee which would look at how much of Greece's debt could potentially be written off. Now, there's one place where this is not going down very well, of course. Let's have a look at how the German press have been reacting. Now, in Der Spiegel, they say that, to conservative German opinion at least, this proves that Europe as it is just isn't really working. The Germans, they say, can't quite adequately assert what they think they should be getting back in exchange for what they've put into trying to save the euro. They say that even the left-wing parties in Greece that are calling for the terms of the bailout to be rejected, they still think Greece can stay in the euro. They still want to stay in the euro, but for conservative German opinion, well, they shouldn't be allowed if they're not going to accept those bailout terms. On the other hand, though, some of the more moderate, more centrist German newspapers have been saying that actually it might be partly Germany's fault that the Greeks have chosen to reject austerity so decisively, because, of course, if they hadn't been quite so harsh in the terms that were imposed, then maybe the Greeks wouldn't have rejected it quite so strongly.
Yeah, a lot of people, as you say, calling the elections a bit of a referendum on austerity. And we've also had regional elections in Italy, in fact, on Monday. Austerity not going down well with voters there either.
No, indeed. Remember just 6 months ago when Mario Monti came to power, he was generally given the benefit of the doubt by the Italian public. They were fed up with Berlusconi, they wanted a change. But now, 6 months on, after harsh austerity measures and labour market reforms that have made the unions unhappy, those politicians backing him have done pretty badly in regional elections across Italy. As La Repubblica reports, the traditional centre-right, though, those who were tarnished with their association to Berlusconi, did even worse. His Freedom People party in some cities like Parma got less than 5% of votes, whereas in the previous elections they'd come top of the polls. Who's winning out of all of this then in Italy? Well, it's a small party called the Five Star Movement, set up by the comedian Beppe Grillo. Now, he was once one of Italy's most famous comedians, sort of Italian Billy Connolly, if you like. He's got a big beard and great big sort of greying afro. But back in 2006, under Berlusconi, of course, he originally set up a political movement he called the Purple People to oppose Berlusconi and particularly attack him on corruption grounds. So they had big purple demonstrations at the time. He's now renamed it the Five Star Movement, and it's gone on an anti-austerity drive. Now they're to the left of Italy's traditional left, but actually suggest Italy should pull out of the euro to stop having these tough measures imposed on them. And in some cities they got up to 20% of voters, so he's doing quite well at least. But The Guardian says that it's the responsibility of traditional left, traditional social democrat parties to try and counter austerity more, and it's their fault if extremist parties are doing better and better on both the left and the right, proposing populist solutions to try and save Europe from its crisis. They say it's traditional social democrat parties that should be looking at themselves in the mirror and saying, hang on, why didn't we oppose these tough austerity measures more strongly from earlier on? They've got to take responsibility, the paper says.
A lot of countries are saying they've got a comedian in charge, so why not another one, I suppose. Completely different story. Al-Qaeda's bomb-making capabilities back in the news. This is following the supposed underwear bomb plot detected by the CIA, the independent looking at efforts to catch the bomb maker.
Yes, there's a new public enemy number one, they headline, and it's Ibrahim Hassan al-Assari. Now, he supposedly is al-Qaeda's bomb maker in Yemen, who they think made the bomb that was detected by the CIA that they announced yesterday that they had detected, and also Umar Farouk Abdul Muttalib's bomb. Remember, he was the British-educated Nigerian who tried to blow up a plane arriving in the US on Christmas Day 2009. The same man apparently also made the bombs that were disguised as photocopiers that were found on US cargo planes in Britain in October 2010. Now, they say successful US drone strikes in Yemen are starting to take out more of the elements of the very active al-Qaeda cell in that country, but they still don't quite know where they are. It's quite a chaotic political situation on the ground there, and they're actually quite worried, apparently, the US authorities, that they may not get hold of this man before he carries out another successful bomb plot. Apparently, rather gruesomely, they're also looking at surgically implanting bombs into possible suicide attackers.
Thanks very much, Elena. Elena with the international papers here on France 24. Here's the headlines then. Nicolas Sarkozy leading his